This is level 1 stretching for legs and hips. So let's get started. We're going to do a series of 1-minute stretches. So let's come to laying on your back. So laying on your back, bend your right knee up, reach around the knee with the hands, and start rocking the right knee in and away from the armpit. So we're going to start to squeeze the knee in towards the armpit and let it release. And squeeze the knee in and let it release. So we're just kind of targeting now gently the hip flexors, front of the hips, and the glutes, muscles here in the bum, and a bit the hamstrings. So just rocking and squeezing the knee in towards the armpit, let it release. Squeeze the knee in, let it release. A few more of these here, just getting this nice and warmed up. Each time you pull it in, see if maybe you can squeeze it in towards the armpit a little bit deeper. Good. One more nice big squeeze of the knee in towards the armpit. And let it release down. Good. And switching legs, so left knee in, right leg long. And again, just squeeze the knee in and let it release. Squeeze the knee in towards the armpit, let it release. Again, you might notice a difference from one side to the other, and it's perfectly normal. So we're just trying to even those differences out through these series of stretches. Normally we're a bit stronger, we do things more on one side, and that leads to a bit of a tightness there. And we'll even those out through this course. So a few more, just squeezing the knee in towards the armpit, letting it relax a bit, squeezing it in, let it relax out. Each time you squeeze it in, maybe see if you can pull it a little stronger in towards the armpit. Good. One more nice big squeeze, knee in towards the armpit, and releasing that down. Placing both feet now down on the mat with the knees bent up, feet about hip width apart, arms out to the sides, and just roll the knees now left and right, back and forth, side to side. So keeping your feet on the ground, you don't have to lift the feet, we're just rolling side to side over the feet, and the knees are going side to side. So that's getting into the waist, side of the hips, and lower back, just limbering that up a little bit. All those areas are important for hip mobility and leg mobility. Just back and forth, side to side. You don't have to hold any kind of strength in the legs or any tension. Just let them flop a bit. A couple more times. A little quicker now. Side to side, side to side. Okay, and back into center. Great, so targeting hamstrings now. We're going to straighten your right leg up in the air. Reach underneath the knee here, behind the knee. Push out through the right heel and just start rocking this leg now in and away from you. So try and straighten the leg as much as you can. If it doesn't straighten all the way, that's okay. Stay really active in the ankle. So you're pushing your heel outwards. And you're going to feel this stretch now in the hamstrings, here behind the knee, all the way in towards the insertion here in the sitting bone. And again, just gradually trying to straighten the leg a little bit more, rocking it a little bit deeper. Okay, one more big squeeze in and releasing the right leg down. Okay, to the left side. So straighten your left leg up in the air and reach the hands around behind the leg. Hold on to the back of the knee and just rock this left leg in and away a few times. In and away. So again, it doesn't matter if your leg is perfectly straight. A little bit bent is fine, whatever you can manage. The important bit is to stay really active in the ankle, so keep pushing your heel out and up as you rock this leg in and away. Again, hands are supporting behind the knee. You'll feel the stretch there, traveling up the leg all the way towards the insertion in your sitting bone. A couple more of these. Go one more big pull of the leg in. Alright, and releasing left leg down. Right, now we're going to target the hips and the glutes a little bit more, even a bit of the quads. So feet down, knees bent up. We're going to cross your right ankle on top of the left knee and start to push that right knee out a little bit with your right palm. So again, staying stable in this right ankle is resting across the top of the left knee, and you're just using your right palm to push your right leg away and in a little bit. This isn't much of a stretch right here, but we're going to build into it in a little bit more. Alright, so we're just warming up the front of this right hip flexor. If this feels like this is a strong stretch for you, that's great. We're going to stick with this. If this feels like, yeah, it's quite accessible, feels quite nice, you can up it a little bit, then we're going to now take that into a little bit of a deeper stretch. So same leg position, and then this time we're going to reach the hands through this little gap, right hand through the gap, left hand around the outside of the left leg, and we're going to hug this, squeeze this in towards you. So either reaching through and catching the back of the thigh, or if you can, all the way to the shin. Try and keep your head back on the mat. That's not super important because we're just really isolating into the hips. Stay really strong and stable through this right ankle. Remember, heel is pushing out. What that does is really help protect the joint of the knee, right? And it really sends this stretch right down through the outside leg, bang into the hip flexor. I'm sure you're going to feel it in here. You might even feel a bit in the hamstring, depending on where your level of tension is. And just kind of rock this in and away a few more times here. One more big squeeze of the knee in towards the chest. And releasing that down. Right, and we're going to swap the legs. So left ankle across the right knee. And again, we're just going to rock this left knee, kind of pushing it away and letting it track back inwards. So left palm is just on the thigh here. Kind of rocking that in and away a few times. Getting that a little bit loosened up. And again, stay stable through the ankle. And if this feels like this level of stretch and this position is enough for you, that's fine. You can stay warming this knee up, warming the hip flexor up, just like this. If you want to up the intensity a little bit more, then we're going to switch into next position, which is reaching through the little gap around the leg and hugging this in towards you. Again, stay stable in this left ankle. Notice how my heel is pushing out, toes are curled back a little bit. Right, so stability in your ankle, stability in the knee. Really getting this stretch, this hip stretch, right banging the outside of the hip into the back of the leg, the hamstrings. So again, you can just rock this in and away a few times. Gradually deepening how far you're pulling the knee in towards the chest. Eventually we want to try and get this left calf all the way to the chest. One more nice big squeeze of the leg in and releasing that down. Okay, so same leg position now. We're going to go back to the right ankle across the top of the left knee. And we're going to draw this over and across to the side. So Both knees are drawing over towards the right. And we're going to then cup the left hand behind the left head. So you can use your right hand to help the right ankle press this left knee over and down. And you get this stretch through the IT band of the left leg, through the front of the left hip, a bit through the side of the waist. Feel like you're spreading the rib cage and stretching up and out through that left elbow. To deepen the stretch, feel like you're pushing your left hip upwards and outwards, stretching over through the left elbow. One more big stretch across the left side of the body. Good. And back into center. Good. And switching legs. So left ankle crosses over the top of the right knee, and both knees over towards the left. And then again, we're going to cup the right hand behind the head, stretching out and across this whole right side of the body. So from the elbow, tricep, lats, rib cage, front of the hip flexor, pushing and lifting outwards, outside of the right leg, the IT bands. You might even be getting it in the quads a little bit here. And pushing out, stretching along from the elbow. Big long stretch through the whole right side of the body. Again, you can use your left hand to help that left ankle push the knee down a little deeper. One more big stretch across. Great, good. And back into center. Good. One more set laying on your backs. We're going to hug your left knee in, right leg long. Keep hold of the left knee with the right hand, and we're going to draw that across the torso, over towards the floor on your right. So we're rolling onto your right hip. And then rock this left knee down towards the floor. Try to keep your left arm, so the back of your left arm, on the floor. Now your left shoulder might lift a little bit, and we're trying to balance out that lift of the left shoulder and trying to get the left knee down to the floor. It's unlikely that you'll get both of them unless you've got great mobility in your lower back and hips. So we're just trying to balance this out a little bit, rocking it down towards the floor. Go one more big push, knee down, arm out, and back into center. Good. And right side. Right knee in, left leg long, hold on to the right knee with the left hand, and draw the knee across the torso, rolling over onto your left hip. So reaching your right arm out towards the side, towards the right side. We're trying to keep the back of your right arm grounded as you draw the right leg deeper across. And again, you can just rock this a bit in and away. And you might feel this here in the hip, lower back, shoulder. And again, just keep rocking this right knee a little deeper, trying to keep your right arm grounded onto the floor as much as possible. One more big stretch across, push the knee down, stretch the arm out. And back then into center. Great, guys. So that's all for laying on your backs. We're going to come up to sitting and then over onto the hands and knees. Right. So a bit more hip mobility. Right leg, the knee lifts back, out to the side as high as possible, forward, up the right arm as much as possible, in towards the nose, and lift the leg back again. Back nice and high, high to the side, forward to the shoulder, knee to nose, and leg lifts back. Same side, high to the side, knee to shoulder, knee to nose, lifting back, side, shoulder, nose, back, side, shoulder, nose, back, side, shoulder, nose, back, side, shoulder, and nose. Great. And left side. Left leg back, nice and high, wide to the side, knee to shoulder, knee to nose. I'll change angles so you can see from here. Back, side, shoulder, nose. Leg lifts back, knee to the side, knee to shoulder, knee to nose. Back, side, shoulder, nose. Back, side, shoulder, nose. Back, side, shoulder, nose. Again, back, side, shoulder, nose. One more. Back, side, shoulder, nose. And then back to center. So we're going to come into a low lunge position. Bring your right foot forward, and I'll change angles so you can see here. And then we're going to just rock back. Try and straighten the right leg as much as possible, toes up. Then bending into the right knee, lunging. Straighten the right leg, folding forward. Bending into the right knee, lunging. So we're targeting the hamstrings here and the back of the right leg. And as we lunge forward, we're getting into the quads of your left leg. So keep rocking in and out of this, alternating, straightening your right leg and lunging forward. So, a few more here. Okay, one more lunge forward, and then we'll swap the legs. Right knee down, left leg forward, and again bending into the left knee, and then straightening left leg, folding forward, bending into the left knee, and straightening the leg, folding forward, bending into the knee, straightening the leg, fold, bending, lunge, get into that back quad, straighten, fold, hamstring, lunging forward, straightening, rocking back, lunging forward, rocking back, couple more, lunging forward, rocking back, lunging forward, and rocking back, fold. All right, back into center. Knees down, sit back on the heels if you can. Get a good quad stretch, ankle stretch. But we're done. Well done, guys. So that's level 1, legs and hips, and see you next time.